Pick-me's don't usually get picked. And if they do get picked, they don't usually get picked by quality men. They usually get picked by guys who are either really insecure, so they need a woman who needs them, who's going to become dependent on them, or they tend to get picked by men who are very manipulative. They don't get picked by quality men. That's the hypocrisy of the whole argument. Men will tell you this is what we want, but they don't pick that girl. That's why the irony kills me of guys that will come on like my social media, and when I'm giving women advice, they'll be like, oh, see, that's the reason why you're single. That's the reason why you don't have a man. That's the reason why you don't have a ring on your finger, all these things. And I'm like, really, sir? Because listening to men and listening to men say what they wanted and trying to be the perfect woman, trying to be that woman that men said that they wanted, is actually what got me single. Because I dedicated too much of my life to trying to cater to men and trying to be what men wanted.
All men prefer pick-me's. Yeah, for momentarily, until they see something better that they can't have, and then they get mad. They want to upgrade, but they can't afford it. So no man really wants a pick-me. They settle for pick-me's because they don't have the money to get the woman they want, okay? Not all men want pick-me's. Only men who don't have the money to get the woman they want. So all broke men want pick-me's because they can't afford the type of women they really desire. And when they can, they drop the pick-me and go get the other one. And that's true. I've seen it a million times. So y'all can keep lying to yourselves. It doesn't help you, but if it helps you sleep at night, whatever.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Omawumi, aka Petite Diva, and in this video we are discussing the type of men that usually end up with pick-me women.
Why the pick-me girls aren't like just naturally falling.
Sure can, yeah. It's actually a really simple answer. The red pill dudes don't want pick-me girls. They don't want pick-me girls. They don't want a woman who will just randomly already have a sandwich made for them, or who will already have dinner ready on the table by the time they get home. They don't want that. They want a non-pick-me woman, a non-pick-me girl, a non-subservient woman that they can break down and beat down and force into subservience. That's what they actually want. The easiest and most obvious example of this is Pearl. We all know who Pearl is. She is the type of pick-me that is saying, this is what men want. This is the type of women that men want, and we need to be like this in order to treat them the way they deserve to be treated. She ain't got no ring on her finger, and she popped up 2-3 years ago by now. If the men that she is appealing to actually wanted her, they would be knocking down her door to get that ring on her finger, to marry her, and to have her be the mother of their children by now. The red pill dudes don't want pick-me girls. The red pill dudes want to take a regular woman and force her into this tiny, tiny, tiny little box, even though there are loads of pick-me girls that have already put themselves into that tiny little box. Because having a girl put themselves in a box is not as much fun as forcing a woman into the box yourself. Red pill dudes don't want pick-me girls.
Yes, why do these boys claim that they want this housewife who's going to stay at home, raise the kids, just drop her whole life and wait on them hand and foot? And then when they're presented with that, they actually don't want anything to do with those pick-me girls? That creator absolutely nailed it. It's because that's not what they want at all, actually. These boys have dehumanized women and the act of dating so substantially that they've essentially turned it into almost like a giant video game, where they want to fight women who are the exact opposite of that into subservience. And it's the same thing as when they looked into what men actually meant when they said they wanted to date an intelligent woman, which was that they wanted to date a woman that was intelligent, yes, but always a little bit less intelligent than them, right? So that they were always kind of challenging them and whatnot, but usually not winning. It's the same reason that movie Poor Things, when you look it up on Google, is listed under comedy/fantasy, even though it was the most disturbing movie many of us had ever seen. It was directed by a man based off of a book written by a man, and it is being absolutely eaten up and loved by men right now. And I see this all the time when I'm dating, because if y'all know me, you know that I am stubborn, right? I love good witty banter, and I love researching and debating topics, of course. So I always attract these boys who are really interested in those things as well. And at the very beginning, that's always what they say they love about me, right? Like, I'm very goal-oriented. I know exactly what I want out of this life. I'm very independent. I'm upfront about it always. I love some friendly banter and debating and discussing topics. But then what happens is one of two things. I see them either get tired or grow exhausted of the fact that they're not like consistently winning all the, like they win some of our arguments and our banters, right? But they're not winning as many as they'd want. And suddenly all of this banter that was fun and flirty and exciting at the beginning is becoming boring and difficult, and it's all my problem, right? They want the women who can challenge them, but they can still put in their place at the end of the day. Or when the more serious topics come around, like marriage and children, and they want me like at home sat with the kids to abandon my life, I get like startled and upset out of nowhere when I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's what I want for my life. Like as if at some point I was going to magically change my mind on all of these things. And in fairness, like maybe someday I'll want those things, but definitely not right now. And I never gave you any preconceived notions that that would be something that I would want right now. And that upsets them deeply because they feel they've lost in this strange game of dating that they've created.
The red pill dudes don't want pick-me girls. They don't want pick-me girls.
Why are there all these pick-me girls out there who aren't getting picked? Because they're doing all the right things. Well, that's because it's not about them, and it never was, and it's all about the flaws in someone else. But get your coffee, get your beanie. We're going to talk about it.
Welcome to Coffee Talk with your host, Linda Richmond.
So first things first, you know what the Matrix is an allegory for, right?
I'm glad that it has gotten out that, that was the original intention, but the world wasn't quite ready at a corporate level. The corporate world wasn't ready for it. So when you...
The Wachowski sisters created the Matrix in the 90s to include communities that the red pill people have squarely put themselves against in opposition to. Just because they didn't feel like looking into anything and never listen to anyone else's perspective. Not listening and only caring about their perspective doesn't sound like a great partner to me, but that doesn't seem like it has a whole lot to do with your behavior one way or the other, does it? No. Now let's talk about what's going to be expected of you physically that you actually don't really have control over, like...
I would say if there's one thing that's held me back in dating, it is the height. I would
think
say
so?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now, is that because you want a guy taller?
It's me. It's my fault.
Oh yeah, it's definitely her choosing, because someone who does not have the strength and wherewithal to have a partner who has an opinion definitely could handle a partner who's taller than he is. In my experience, they're typically looking for someone who's like 5'6", 5'7", and under, and fiery. But why the fire? And that's what these other people are explaining, and I'm so glad people are talking about this. They don't want someone who's already that way. They don't want that, because then it's not about, these are abusers. That's what they are. That's what they are. What fun is it in them for them if you're already like that and they don't get to just barrel you into submission for years until you're no longer a scrap of who you were when you met them? That's part of the game. They like it. They like it. And I know it's hard to understand. Like, they like that? They do. A guy like that going out and looking for a lady, honestly, and this has happened to me several times, trust, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But they're going to look for someone who's more like me, who's like, Hwah! And you know what I mean? Because that is where the game that they want to play lies. Think about it. They don't have to be single. All these men that are complaining about being single, if they went after the women who wanted them, who wanted that life, we could pair up most of those people. That's just not what they're looking for.
Let's talk about the reason why men don't want to pick me girl, but when it comes to, I'm not sure yet girl, they love her. A pick-me girl abandons herself like this. She has no sense of self. She always tries to be and do whatever she thinks he wants her to be and do because she doesn't believe that she's good enough. She doesn't value herself, so she's always in the convincing mode. And she's never going to find a guy who's going to treat her better than the way that she treats herself. Do you think a man is going to be crazy about a woman that he doesn't value? Absolutely not. But on the other hand, the I'm not sure yet, girl, that one is super attractive. She knows exactly who she is. She knows what she's bringing to the table. So she's not interested to convince anyone. She already knows she's worthy. So she's staying objective. Instead of trying to be convenient, nice girl, she stays objective. She actually stays in her power and looks at the guy and let me see if I actually like you. Let me see if you're actually compatible. She has no problem to say no to the things that she doesn't want to do. She has strong boundaries. She does not walk on eggshells. So she exudes confidence, self-worth, value. And not surprisingly, men love that. Men want to be with a woman that they value. So when she's showing that that's who she is, a high value woman, he's going to love her. So bottom line, don't be a pick-me girl. Value yourself.
I'm going to tell you why in the end men don't pick girls who do everything for them. The pick-me girls, as we call them online. The reason is not because they get annoyed by them. It's not anything like that. They will often pick the girl who's hard to get, and those girls they call gold diggers or whatever it is, who are only about themselves, who are all selfish. The reason is because once they get into a relationship with a pick-me girl, they realize how much she takes away from his freedom and how much energy she requires. Because when a woman is all about herself and doing what she wants to do, she also gives that man freedom, and she gives him a status boost as well, and she makes him achieve more. Whilst if you are a pick-me type of woman, you are a pick-me type of woman because you require that same energy back. So when a pick-me doesn't get that type of energy back in a year or in a few months when she's dating him, guess what? She is blowing up your phone. She's asking why you're not consistent. She's asking you where you're going. She's asking you all these questions all the time because she expects her investments returned. So in the end, men don't like that. No matter how much they say they like that, they don't like that. Because the biggest value for men is remaining themselves, having freedom. That is what they want.
Someone explain to me why the pick-me girls aren't like just naturally falling into the arms of these like whatever type podcast guys.
It's because they're not a challenge. I got a lot of dudes in my family, and a lot of the things they brag about the most is putting women in their place. It's like their goal is to dominate and control. She wasn't cooking and cleaning and obeying me before, but then I put her in her place and I got her acting right. It's not a challenge if you're a pick-me. If a dude is with a pick-me, he can't claim that he did that because she was already like that when they met. But when he gets a woman who's a feminist and independent, he's able to say, hey, I put her in check. I changed her. Then it's like they feel good and they get props from their boys or whatever. Think about it. When women started to be more independent and move away from the traditional role, started teaching these men how to put them back in their place, which is something our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers didn't have to do. Those women were already in their place. They were pick-me's already. I think it's hard for them to unlearn that mentality of dominate and control. So it's like these younger generations of men, they're not used to just women entering their life and acting right. They're mentally prepared to try to put them in their place. Like I said, they want to feel like they conquered you.
Now, on one hand, it seems like the pick-me women, the women who are willing to do anything that men want or be the traditional wife that some men say they want, they are supposed to be like the perfect choice for the red pill guys, the podcast bros, the men that say that they are traditional. People have noticed that these men that are the red pill guys, the podcast bro, the traditional men, usually avoid the pick-me women, the women who are willing to be traditional women, who are willing to do all that they claim they want in a woman and all that they claim that a woman should be. And it's astonishing to people why those men don't actually approach or end up with pick-me women, because they claim that that is what they want. They claim that that's what all women should be. But when they are presented with those women, they avoid going to those women. Now, I have a video where we discussed a particular red pill guy talking about how one notorious pick-me woman called Pearl is not good enough for the red pill guys. He talked about the fact that she's too masculine. Even though if you've watched some of her videos, you know that she largely agrees with a lot of the things that the red pill guys say. But one of the red pill guy was saying that she is not marriage material because of she's masculine. They feel like because of she's so willing to accept all that they are asking and defend them to other women that she might be too masculine because she's doing too much. And that statement just kind of supported the thought that people have that these red pill guys, these traditional men guys, these podcast bro guys, they don't really want the pick-me women because it's easy target for them in their own opinion, because where's the thrill in saying I changed this woman that was not ready to do things for me into this woman that is serving me every time, is doing this every time. Personally, I feel like they want the thrill of breaking down the non-pick-me women into being pick-me, and the thrill of bragging that they were able to do that. So meeting someone who is a readily pick-me person is not exciting. It's like a game to them for them to break down a non-pick-me woman into a pick-me woman. So if they are presented with someone who's already accepting all they say they want and who is ready to do all they say they want, it's not exciting. There's no adrenaline rush, there's no ego boost with that. But when they see someone who is focused, who is independent, who doesn't care about them, who is not male-centered, who is not ready to be a pick-me, they would love to go after such person and then manipulate and do all sort of things to make the person become like a pick-me, become who they say they want. However, I find it very disturbing that they think like that, because there are so many women who would gladly, without any manipulation, without any maneuvering, would gladly do all that they want, would gladly do all that they desire, because that's what they want. They feel like that's their purpose. They feel like that's what they should be. So why they don't go after those women, I don't know. You now go after someone that doesn't really want to be your type of woman, and then you start doing some mind games and everything and just taking the person as a game. Someone said it's like a game to them. It's like one of these computer games. The thrill of conquering is what they're after. That adrenaline rush, that ego boost, that I did this is what I did after this person was supposed to be this particular way. I made this person this particular way. And that thought, in my own opinion, is very sickening, is very weird, and I don't really know why they do it. And I really think that is problematic, and it annoys me just to think about it. Anyway, that's my thoughts about this topic. I would love to hear what you guys think about the reason why all these red pill guys, podcast bro guys, traditional men guys don't go after pick-me women. I would love to hear what you think about the type of men that the pick-me women usually end up with, and if you agree with some of the reasons why these red pill guys, podcast bro and traditional men guys don't go after pick-me women. Please share your thoughts in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.